Bom dia, Portugal!
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.
Hola, bon dia. Quick, get that off the screen, for goodness sake. Okay, that's better. Woo! That was close, wasn't it? Hola, bon dia, alegria. Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and the podcast. How are you? Bon fin semana. Feelgood Friday. Mrs. M will be joining us at 9 this morning as we're going to try out ChatGPT live on the show this morning. Look, ChatGPT 3.5 already. She's a convert, a fan. I'm a reluctant. I've only just given up my typewriter. And before that, I thought that shorthand was the devil's work. I had to throw away my pencils and paper. It's strange, even though I use this technology here and love it, I am in some ways a little bit of a Luddite as well, quite a slow adopter of technology, whether it be the compact disc or the mobile phone, late to the party, and then often love using it thereafter, but can be quite slow to adopt new technology. Mrs. M, however, loving using a bit of Chat GPT. I'm going to find out if the PT in Chat GPT is any reference to Portugal at all, and find out what she loves about it so much. And you can also see for yourself if it's the real Mrs. M or if I've actually ordered a Mrs. AIM on ChatGPT myself in the last few days and had one delivered by Evan, right? So you can check for yourself around 9 o'clock if you think it's the real Mrs. M. How could I tell? Maybe you can help me with that. If it's real Mrs. M or the new Mrs. AIM that's just been delivered by Amazon. How are you this morning? Do let me know in the chat. We're getting ready to go to Coimbra this weekend for the Strong Beer Festival. Looking forward to that. So who's coming along? I know Barandi is, and thanks, Barandi, for your events coming up this weekend, of course, including the Coimbra Strong Beers Festival. Starts today. There'll be boozing tonight in Coimbra. And I think we had a little bit of a chat about this yesterday, if not on the show, then elsewhere. Strong beers in Portugal, I think, refer to anything that might not be Sagres or Superboc, because they're not strong beers, are they? They're session beers, aren't they? They're daytime beers. They're just thirst quenchers, really. And I think strong beers is a euphemism for craft beer, independently made beer, as opposed to the beer you usually find. No judgment. I like a Sagres or a Superboc as much as the next man when it comes to a hot day like yesterday. For me, it was a hot day yesterday. It's a great filming with Colin Ross Jones. We were out and about in his motor yesterday, his GR Yaris, his Toyota, which was great fun. And we did a bit of filming, the first of our Good Motoring Portugal videos, helping people understand what it's like to drive here and find a car here in Portugal. Oh, and we've got our first booking. We're going to be testing a RAV4 Toyota in Caldas da Rainha. Very kindly offered to give us a RAV4 for the day to do a little bit of a test drive and tell you all about that as well. That's in February. So great fun, Colin. Good to see you yesterday. And nice to have, going back to my original comments about Sagres and Superboc, absolutely wonderful having a Bifana and an Imperial of Sagres yesterday. No, I've got no beef. I've got pork with my Imperial. In fact, no beef, but pork with my Bifana. So cheers to you, Nelson, as well. It was so. I've not had a Bifana for a long time, but that classic combo on a warm day here in Portugal: Bifana, beer, and sunshine. Absolutely wonderful. So we're gonna have some fun in Coimbra. I'm gonna be there tomorrow. If you want to press the flesh. And have a hug tomorrow, a beer-induced hug with Gumpers tomorrow. Is that putting people off or attracting people to the event? Andy Klein will be there. So basically, it'll be the Englishman, the Irishman, and a bunch of Gumpers walk into a beer festival in Coimbra. What could possibly go wrong? Portuguese, to what do we owe this honour? Lord Gilchrist is here. All rise, order. Good morning to you, Andrew. What brings you here? And have we got Lee McGrady as well? My goodness, there's a man cave incursion on the southern border here this morning. But you're very welcome as long as you behave yourself, lads. We don't want your type in here if you're going to get out rowdy. And talk of beer and I think food. Have we got Coach Turner talking about gut health? I've got a little apology to make to Mrs. M when she joined us in relation to gut health. Yes, it's not only the mind that's been boggling this morning. Ok, bom dia, campus. Feliz sexta a todos. Tudo bem? Como estás? Muito bem, obrigado. Talk to you Monday, James. And I forgot to share this with you. This lady's great value and good fun, isn't she? Is she not? This is Carla. There's Portuguese with Carl, which I wouldn't recommend. That's me. And there's Portuguese with Carla, which I would recommend. And we can have a chat. If we remember, if we don't go off talking about other stuff like we always do, we can visit this now versus nine. Okay, so that we can come back to that. And of course, the next installment of James's visit to the Mercado. Look at him with his courgette and 2 tomatoes there. That's the elephant in the room. What do you say after you've said, hola, bon dia? Tudo bem, como estás? We're slowly extending our vocabulary. And it's not the only thing, by the look of it, that's extending. So looking forward to seeing you on Monday, including immigration fatigue. Is that what you called it, James? Immigration fatigue. A really good idea that we'll take a look into. Mrs. M joining us at 9. The cheeky, look at this. Would you agree? The cheeky confectionery marketing of the Algarve. Disgusting. Great food is like great sex, it says down there in the Algarve. The more you have it, the more you want it. I'm not sure if that's the tantric view or attitude on the matter, but I imagine it sells 1 or 2. Are they ice creams? I mean, for goodness sake, are they? Yeah, I don't know if I want to be seen walking in the streets of Albufeira or Lagos. Anyway, I'm not sure I would want to be seen down there in the Algarve with one of those in my mouth. I think should be reserved for behind closed doors, possibly. What dairy produce you consume in your own home is your business. All right, let's see what's going on here. Would that be a contribution to gut health, I wonder? Mindful moment, then, just to change the subject. This from the great Jay Holly, 19th of April, 2011, the date immortalized by these words. Inherent in every act of self-change is an existential component. If I am no longer that, who am I now? Ooh, check you out, James Holly. That should be up there on Heart Math, should it not? Nice one. Thank you, James. And Mindful Dad joke. Why did the meditator bring a map to her session to find the shortest path to enlightenment? I think some of these more recent ones are your own work, are they not? And you sent us a visual as well. This is Kathy Thorne. Nice to be able to give a shout out to Kathy Thorne on the show today. Mindful moment, mindful dad joke, and now look, a mindful visual here. Thank you very much for this, James. I know there's no way to do this wrong. Yeah, that's what people say, isn't it? When you go to yoga or meditation, oh, don't worry, there's no wrong way to do it. It's the taking part that counts kind of sentiment. And this is I guess this goes through the minds of would-be meditators. I know there's no wrong way to do this, but I'm sure I'm not doing it right. Yes, which strangely enough rather undermines the whole purpose of meditation, does it not? But if you can catch yourself with that mental dialogue going on, you have the chance to be free of it, like a passing cloud. Yes, okay. Let's get back to your comments. Thank you very much for that wonderful trio there, James, of content and input. Thank you very much indeed. Who's meditating at the moment in this group? Anyone want to put their hand up to being a meditator? Okay, fermented foods then. Let's get into the God Squad tip of the day. And a greeting from Coach Turner at just after 8 this morning, just after 9. We'll see Mrs. M on the show, hopefully bringing coffee. Bom dia a todos e feliz sexta. Putting the sex in sexta-feira. They are in the Algarve, as you've seen already. A quiet day today, organizing things for our trip to the Eternal City next week. Forgive me. Where is he going? And what is the Eternal City? Somebody will tell me, I think, within the next few seconds, what is the Eternal City, what that's a reference to. This is a visit that's been delayed for 4 years. Pictures will be incoming. Thank you very much. Just need to know where the Eternal City is. Forgive my ignorance. God Squad tip of the day, wrapping up this week of nutrition commentary. And did you see, Coach Turner, that there's a research study that has come out just recently that says that Oreos are better for controlling cholesterol than statins are. Is that right? Or have I just done a classic misquote with scientists shaking their heads, putting their heads in their hands? No, that's not what we said. Now, if it is true that they did say that Oreos are better for you than statins, could it be? I mentioned it to Mrs. M, and she said, well, it's probably the same company that owns Oreos and the statins. She's so cynical, is she not? Wrapping up this week of nutrition commentary, here's 4 things to consider for your food that will improve your overall health. Nice one, Coach Turner. I'm going to run these past Mrs. M. Eat more plants, not just vegetables, but pulses, nuts. Do you know what? I haven't had chickpeas for ages, and I made some ribs in the slow cooker earlier this week. And there weren't enough ribs, frankly. I actually have ribs a couple of times this week. Well, more if you consider how I kept going back into the slow cooker and adding things. But anyway, made ribs. Family loved them, ate them all very quickly. And I thought, this sauce that the ribs have been cooked in, I'm going to empty that pot of chickpeas that I bought from Mercadonald's the other day. So I was thinking, when I opened the chickpeas, I'm thinking that, what's it called? That, not cerebellum. The stuff, it's got a special name, isn't it? That gel that comes with chickpeas, and you can actually whip it up into a kind of mousse. If you put chocolate powder with the stuff that comes with chickpeas, that you rinse it off, or you don't rinse it off, but you can use it in cooking. I rinsed it. I didn't want to get it too complex in the slow cooker there. It was pretty complex already, and with a tendency to off gas a little bit. So I thought, I'm not going to put, I can't remember the name of it now, the stuff that comes on the chickpeas. Anyway, Mrs. M will know that when she arrives here. And so I just emptied the chickpeas into the old rib sauce, and then I put 2 chilies in there, and I finished it last night. So that's been on the go. I have been fermenting chickpeas and eating them steadily throughout the week. And I remembered how much I love chickpeas. Not so sure about the rest of the family. Happy about me eating chickpeas, but anyway, more about that when Mrs. M arrives. Not just vegetables, but pulses, nuts, herbs, and spices as well. Even in small quantities, they help the good bacteria in the gut. Mrs. M got all her herbs out last night, not a euphemism. She's got this great big box of herbs, and she was making all sorts. And she threatened to make a hair tonic for me. And the only reason I'm going to let her talk me into that is because it involves massaging this stuff into the scalp. I don't care if I go bald. If she does that, even if I'm a complete slaphead, it will be worth the process of being involved in that, right? The more different types, the merrier. Yes, combinations and complexity, diversity in the diet, right? Eat the rainbow, ban the beige. And purple foods are particularly good for you. I'm always telling Mrs. M that. But a broad range, I thought you were talking about broad beans for it. A broad range of colors is, again, good for your gut health. And then Lee McGrady pops in like a surprise fart in many ways that takes you by surprise. Lee, no offense meant, good morning, people, right in the middle of this message from Coach Turner there. 3, eat more fiber, Lee. Whole Foods, there is no such thing as a coincidence that you should come in just as we're talking about eating more fiber. Whole Foods, skin on potatoes. It all helps a healthy digestion, not just beer and cigarettes, Lee. Come on. And number 4, fermented foods seem to have a great effect in supporting a healthy gut. You are so on the same page as Mrs. M here. What about Oreos? Are Oreos allowed to bring the cholesterol levels down? I think there's so much hooey talked about statins. Basically, I remember I used to do a podcast with a doctor long ago who was very suspicious about statins. Might be another one of these profiteering things from the pharmaceutical companies, those rascals. Have they not made enough money yet? That's the thing, isn't it? We're talking about this with the bunker billionaires, weren't we? once you get to a certain level, people just cannot stop, can they, for some reason? Fear is my theory. If you can use these guidelines to help design your meals, then you should be able to enjoy life to the fullest. And that's the aim of the God Squad. Oh, yes. Nicely done. Thank you very much, Coach Turner. Absolutely. And here, in his Neanderthal way, an educated fellow, but just when he gets in bad company, like the man cave, he starts shouting in capital letters. Everyone, Lee, James, Ian! Ooh! You know that noise that you hear at airports or in the Algarve sometimes on a Friday night. The Brits. Ooh, why'd you have to do that, Brits? I'm writing about you in my column. Slightly controversial column coming out, this next one. And I do make reference to the behavior of my fellow countrymen in not the most complimentary of ways. If you can use, and that's complimentary with an I, by the way, if you can use these guidelines to help design your meals, then one more time, then you should be able to enjoy life to the fullest. Morning, he says. I ate vegetarian dinner last night. I like a mix of diets. Curry tonight. We ate fusion last night with friends we met here in Lagos. But we were actually actually live in Ponte Lima out till midnight last night. Training, carnival training. Fantastic. Good stuff. João de Norte. Carnival's coming up, and we have the documentary evidence all over the country. People are getting in shape for Carnival. Sounds like you are too, João de Norte. So the trip to the Algarve then is just training for Carnival coming up in February. Peter is in. Bon dia alegria to you, Pete. Andrew from you've really got James, a friend of Slug, very animated there. Good work, Lord Gilchrist. ChatGPT 4 is far superior, but has a monthly fee. How is it far superior? I mean, from what Mrs. M's telling me about ChatGPT 3.5, which I believe is free, it's what else can it do? Can it make you a coffee? See what I did there. Give it another year and see vast improvements. Where's it going to go, Portuguese, Andrew? Hola, bon dia alegria. Preparing to come over and looking forward to the show. Fantastic. Nice one, buddy. Not long now, and you'll be back on Terra Portuguesa. Bon dia from Pinky. Hey, Pinky, how are you? Happy Friday to you too. And we're off to Tavira today for a bit of exploring. Frank would have been here today. It's 4th Friday, Frankie Feelgood Friday. But he's on tour, so you won't be seeing him in Tavira, I don't think. Bad timing. I think Doug caught him over that way earlier on this week, but as seen in this picture here. But sadly, we don't have Frank, but we'll do our best to have push the Feelgood Fridometer up to 10 or 11 this morning, and Mrs. in to help me do that as we're testing out ChatGPT. So we're missing you, Frank. And we hope to catch you again next month. Bon voyage. A local car hire place called Lujka comes highly recommended. So there you go. Oh, yeah, you went down on the train, didn't you? So you've jumped in a hire car. Lujka. There. Excellent stuff. Well done. Have a lovely time down there. I had a 9% beer in Lisboa. Needed some snacks, bar snacks afterwards. That's a strong beer for sure, isn't it? And back in Ponte Lima, Letreria has an 11% beer. Letreria. Yeah, okay. I think I've got that right. The Letra Brewery, right? And I sent in a photo response to that. Bobby O'Reilly, good morning to you. I was talking to somebody about you. You must have heard this before, actually, Bobby. I mentioned your name to somebody. So, what, like the Who? Bobby O'Reilly? No, Bobby O'Reilly. Now, talking of Bobby O'Reilly, do you remember this, folks, that we talked about long ago? A minute of video here, because we've got some good news. Well, the great news, folks, it was a long time. It feels like a long time since I was there doing a live broadcast from the marketing suite of Verdad de Maya. It's lovely to see that video again. And the Pont Lima, the 25 de Abril bridge there, that one, Ponte de 25 de Abril. Which, of course, was going to be called the Salazar Bridge, wasn't it? Until people thought that probably wasn't such a good idea. 50-year anniversary this year, folks. Are you getting ready? Has anyone seen any preparations yet? Although it's quite a long time, isn't it, by Portuguese standards, until April. So I wonder what's going to be happening. Anything happening in your town or city? When there is, do let me know, because we want to cover that. I want to do that justice this year. Back to Verdad de Maya then. Great news. Work has started on site. So there you are, Bobby. It's like having Tonka toys to play with, isn't it? Real life Tonka toys and a Lego set for grown-ups at Verdad de Maya. So congratulations to you, Bobby, on getting the work going there, actually seeing things happening on the ground, along with Ali Marji there in the picture. So congratulations, mate. Good to see that work is taking place. Must be very proud of that. And rightly so. Can't wait to be back there again and do another show live from the site as the buildings are beginning to take shape on your flagship development there. And see you tomorrow for a straw. Let's celebrate. Should we celebrate? We don't really need an excuse, but we've got one if we want one. Right there. Building work has begun in earnest at Verdad de Maya. We'll clink a couple of strong beers together in celebration of that tomorrow, Bobby. Excellent stuff. Okay. Dougie's here as well. And Lee's nickname is official, it would appear. Lagos. The UK Home Office appear to have solved the immigration issue, says Coach Turner. They have started employing doctors' receptionists. Now no one is getting in. Hey! Eternal City is the capital city of heaven. That's not really helping me. Thank you very much. Where is the Eternal City? I meditate in the kitchen. Seafood cataplana cooking masterclass. Is that what's going on today, Owen? Send pics, please. The Eternal City is either Rome or Kyoto. Kyoto sounds so much more interesting, but tram jazz with a 5-course meal, drinks, and live jazz around the sites in Roma is awesome. Apologies for I've got to speak to Fabrizio later on today. I hope he didn't hear me doing my Roman impersonation there. He will not be forgiving me quickly for that. So it's either we've narrowed it down to Rome or Kyoto. Yes, meditating in the kitchen and seafood cataplana masterclass today. Photos incoming on Monday. Looking forward to this. Have a great weekend, everyone. Off to the coast for fish. That sounds fabulous. Now, when are we going to see you, Owen? We see you on the first Wednesday, which is not next Wednesday. And it'll be the 7th of February. And we will be welcoming James of the Anson Brewery in Lourinhã. Not at the Strong Beer Festival this weekend. They're doing a bit of a refurbish, I think, at their wonderful premises. They look fantastic to me when I pressed my nose up against the glass. They weren't open when me and the fam went to Lourinhã, coincidentally, about a month ago. The brewery looks fantastic, but they've got some changes over there. And James from the Anson Brewery will be here on the 7th of February for the first of his craft beer corners. So food with Owen, the food alchemist, and craft beer, talking about craft beer from all around the country with James from the Anson Brewery in his first residency. Looking forward to that already, Owen, and we'll see some pictures on Monday. I believe olive oil is far superior to statins for reducing cholesterol. I'm with you on that, James. We're not doctors. Who on this earth would take our advice on such matters? But for our own money and insights and inclination, intuition, and other such deeply scientific methods of dealing with one's health, we're going to go with olive oil, I think. And what better country to be in than Portugal for a bit of good olive oil. Good luck with your car reviews. Cheers, Doug. I'm reviewing the ugliest Bentley ever made currently. I'm sure the Bentley marketing team are not using that as in their efforts to sell that car. And you're not helping, Doug. Even the name is awful. The Bentayga. The Bentayga. Is that, have I pronounced that correctly? A bit like Lagos. Bon dia, alegria, feliz sexta-feira, and a wonderful weekend. So up there in the north, the man in the Minho putting the sex into sexta-feira this weekend. Well done, Antonio. And thank you for all your contributions this week over there on the Portugal Club platform. We get the yobbos every Saturday around UK towns. What, that noise? Whoa. I blame football. All yobs wear football shirts. Oh, Dougie, that's not helping either. slagging off Bentley and now tarring all football fans with the same brush there. You're in so much trouble, I think. But why don't you make it 3 things that people can be upset with you about? Let's see if you can come up with a hat trick of offensive and triggering opinions this morning. You know you want to. I want you to as well. I'm going to be leveraging AI. Hold on a minute. We're going in some corporate jargon here. Andrew, this is not a job interview, okay? You don't have to say things like that. I'm going to be leveraging AI for a new engineering technology this year. It will also help with big data analysis. So where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Doug, it will be interesting to see how the English rugby supporters behave next weekend in Rome. They probably also do a little bit of woo. We shall see. Usually better. I think it's a matter of public record, is it not, that rugby fans are much better behaved than football fans? Doug thinking so. Ian, rugby fans are good eggs. Saw an ad today to train ChatGPT from Gerald Denault here to auto post for you on Instagram. Seems like a built-in excuse to have someone to blame if your posts go very awry. Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Oh, watch out. Will Thompson's in. Morning, everyone. Morning, Carl. I need to urgently arrange an interview with Doc Andy. It's serious. You've all seen enough of the science getting nowhere. The excess deaths. Take this seriously. Don't adopt a defensive attitude. That's what's causing the prevention of facts being paid forward. Don't judge performance. No excuses, logic and reason only. No one is to blame. Thank you, Will. ASAP. Well, you've got my number. Unless I blocked you last time and I haven't unblocked. But anyway, I think you know how to get in touch with me, Will Thompson. Door is open to you. Olive oil rocks. You know I have certain boundaries, but you know the door is open to you, Will. You missed him the other day then, Will. He explained quite clearly it was amongst the unvaccinated age group. Hold on a minute. He did say that, but I think... I don't think there was any scientific basis for that. It was an opinion, Pete, wasn't it? It was amongst the unvaccinated age group and only temporary, but you could highlight the need for people to get a vaccine. If you don't, I will have to abandon my dogs to a shelter and fly home and go direct to the police hospitals. Well, don't do that just yet, Will. Give us a call. Let's have a chat. And I'm open to... I do my best to be as open to as many views on this as possible, given the paucity of certainty and a comprehensive view on this, in my view. So you know where I am, Will. Carl, my Portuguese is saying my new role is coup. Chief Operating Officer. Is that of your own of place, or have you got a coup role with a corporation? You are talking the language, Lord Gilchrist there. Bon dia from Sarah, and offence catalogue number 3. Oh, did he give us a third one there? I'm not sure. Well, given that we're talking about vaccines, you could try something along those lines, Doug, if you want to. Good day, Gumpers. And that's from Suze. And large gatherings of football fans smell of stewed onions. There you go. There's his hat trick. Back of the net. That should do it. Thank you very much, Doug. Coffee has just arrived in the studio along with Mrs. M on very Portuguese, actually. Just like no, actually, if you were going to be Portuguese, you'd be about 9:30, wouldn't you? But 9 o'clock she is here. No offense. I'm just making an observation.
No, it's fine.
Yeah. No, I was talking to the Portuguese people.
I've been a little bit...
Is it okay to bring you onto the screen?
Sure.
Which camera are we using? Okay, let's give you a nice warm hand on your opening. Good morning to you. And may I say how beautiful you're looking this morning?
You may, yes. Thank you.
And sorry, first of all, sorry about what happened in the bathroom earlier on this morning. Now, I think we should talk about this and get help from the Gumpers. Yeah, because one of the benefits, I would say, of partnership is being able to ablute at the same time. And there was the recreation momentarily of the last emperor. I think the beginning of Bertolucci's last emperor is the royal poo smeller.
Right.
Just to give you a sense of his importance, the last emperor of China, as portrayed by Bertolucci, the royal poo smeller comes in and lifts the lid of the last emperor's potty and says something like, it's in subtitles
You
underneath.
need a new butcher.
More, yeah. You should speak to your butcher, or you need more vegetables. So sorry that scene got recreated. I'm just wondering if other relationships.
Do you know what I'm wondering is
yes,
whether anyone that's watching wants to know this, but B,
yes. Well, I'm interested to know if other couples do this.
Well, the big thing that I'm wondering is why, when we have a house with 3 toilets,
do you have to
do a constitutional morning
movement to be together? I told
whilst
you,
I can't bear
to be apart. I cannot be a pair. I cannot bear to be apart. I cannot be a pair. Right. And when I asked you, what do you think is missing from my diet? I think you said self-respect and dignity.
Yes, I did.
Very good. Get a Japanese-style toilet, Munsons. Oh, this could be a solution for us to be together.
I don't want to be together when I'm doing a poo.
They have. See, I didn't even mention poo, did I? You had to go and just make it obvious for everybody.
Yeah, well, it was pretty obvious.
They have. Look at this. Now, anyone in real estate needs this, don't they? This home has got 3 toilets. That is more bogs than Ireland.
Yes, I will be using that.
Super. And whilst we're talking about real estate, that's great, Doug. Have you got any more of those? We haven't seen this picture for a while, have we?
Oh God!
This also in the training manual. What happened? We still don't know what happened, do we?
Is that a dead person on the balcony?
Well, a sunbather, you hope, don't you?
Yeah,
or maybe did they go into the toilet after me?
Sunbathers don't normally just like pass out on the floor. They might sit on something, and they might have a rug or.
I imagine those tiles were nice and warm to the touch.
I imagine they'd be flipping scorching.
This is the kitchen. That's the balcony. Oh, and I don't know who that is, but anyway, let's not worry about that. Maybe they didn't want to sell it, really. That's because sometimes people don't want to sell, do they?
Seeing a dead person on my balcony might put me off buying.
Well, you're not a very canny negotiator. Seeing a body on the balcony would be an opportunity to lower the price a little bit for some people. Yeah. Wouldn't it? Is that a cat or a child?
I think it's a child.
Okay. All right.
I think it's the child that.
What's that? Oh, God. Can we feed the dogs? We've got enough to do here, haven't we? Children, shows, and everything. Yeah, we'll see to that. Okay. All right. Is that okay?
He's hypersensitive today.
Oh, yeah. It's a full moon. It's a full moon.
Right,
it's a chip off the old block. I'm a bag of nerves myself. After this recent full moon. My goodness. Okay, where were we?
Well, I like
more toilets than Ireland. No, more bogs than Ireland.
Pete's saying they even have noises to cover up Carl's noise.
Oh yeah, we didn't do that.
Which is like Carl is noisy.
Can we please not go into? I'm trying to deal with it in a delicate manner.
He gets up in the morning and he's just singing all day long, and we've got 3 really noisy children as well.
Yeah, as you just heard.
I'm actually the quietest member of the team. And
some people would find it hard to believe, wouldn't they?
I know they would, but I actually really struggle with the noise for noise sake. And Carl loves to fill every environment that he is in with song, with weird sounds,
emissions. Get a Japanese style toilet then. This is a suggestion. That's another selling point.
I wonder if they use the same technology that those electric cars use to fake a sound of a motor. Or they don't, do they? But they could do, couldn't they?
I think we're actually doing a live stream here, Mister. Can you see if
I tell you what,
do it? You're going to sort it out.
I will sort it out.
Okay, all right. Well, it seems reasonable. You are his mother. Okay, 3 toilets, more bogs than Ireland. Get a Japanese-style toilet, Munsons. They have laser-guided sprays to remove. I can't believe that, Pete. But I do believe that, don't they? And they even have noises to cover up. Well, so is this more of the jazz, the Kyoto jazz? Sonic backdrop, you might say. Is that sonic backdrop? Is that an instructive photo for open the windows and no, it's just a coincidence. Francis! Bon dia alegria a todos. Been too long. How is everyone? School run ends too late. Expats everywhere. You're the guy from the Expats Everywhere video. School run ends too late. Missing you all. Happy Seshta. Good morning to you, mate. Solo life, that's a defensive attitude. I asked to be taken seriously. You're blocking, distracting. Okay. Sing Roy Castle's Defecations, what you need if you want to be a record. It is a noisy morning. There's a cat in here yowling. And I've actually got a cat video for you today. I've got a singing cat in a little while who's duetting with Les. We've got Les's latest tune, and he's had a difficult week. And it's an earworm for sure that will have you singing for the rest of the day, if not for the whole weekend. If you want to be a peskier than the rest. Very quick off the mark with that, Douglas, this morning. So thank you very much for that. Good to see you here, Will, Francis, and a few regulars this morning. And we're going to be talking about, should Mrs. M ever return this morning? We're going to be looking at ChatGPT and asking questions such as, well, how about how many Portuguese people does it take to change a light bulb? And I said to Mrs. M, should we do that? She said, it's not really for that, which is fair enough, isn't it? It's not for writing jokes, I don't suppose, although I suspect it can be used for such purposes. Are you a user of ChatGPT, of that kind of artificial intelligence? What do you make of it? And where is it going to take us, folks? Do let me know. Oh, the cat is on the desk now as well. Could this morning get any more exciting? Jenny, how are you this morning? Did you want to come and say hello to everybody? No, you just want to chew cables behind the scenes there. Well done. Okay, I think I've got a few other pickies to show you, but I think I'm going to wait until Mrs. M returns because I want to show her these as well. Ah, she's coming back now. Did you... Sorry, what's that? Now, let's see what happens with the cat, because I've got a singing cat video for you now. Will's here. I think Will's been triggered already. Just give me a ring, Will, and let's have a calm chat.
Is Will responding to the conversation?
He's kicking off in the chat, I think,
on
possibly.
Wednesday.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's...
I was a little bit surprised by that answer.
I'm not surprised that you were surprised.
And I put in a lot of questions too.
Did the host ignore them?
Yes. No, you asked some of them.
Okay, all right.
No, you did ask them.
All right. Well, it sounds like that conversation is not over, and Will may return to our screens, or we'll do a special interview with Will like we've done in the past.
Yeah, well, it would... Sorry.
It's Feelgood Friday.
Yes, it is Feelgood Friday.
Yes.
I'm always very concerned when you have Will on.
Right.
You always want to put people on.
Yeah.
Because you want to be able to share messages, and I absolutely love that.
Mm-hmm.
But he has a tendency to be rude towards the people that
which doesn't help, does it?
No, that he talks to.
Yeah.
He's been rude to you several times.
Yeah.
He's also heckled you and used the C word.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
In live streams.
Which one?
And so I'm always a bit, reluctant. I mean, it's not my show, which is a real sort of... it's
it
really
appears
good
to be at the moment.
It's really good that it's not my show. But,
yeah.
I always think it's much better for you to have guests that aren't going to be aggressive or rude.
I would agree. Okay. Now I want to share with you some music this morning. We've had some fantastic music on the show this morning. We started the week with some of this.
We can make it better.
Superb. We can make it better. An earworm. And then we had B. Rosie, who's over here from Canada, from Montreal, who played last night at Quinta. And I got a little clip of that from Guido.
Lovely.
Oh, Guido, please send my love and thanks to Annie.
Can I have a look at that? I tried it.
I thought it was like I was going to put that on my head. Bald Creole seasoning. Tony Chachalis, no less. And we had some Belizean heat as well, didn't we?
Yeah, I do like their Belizean heat.
Yeah. Are you going to have a sniff of that?
Yeah, I am.
Careful.
I might,
Careful.
I might need to go to the hospital.
So thank you, Annie, for sending me my hot stuff.
Am I actually on screen?
No, you're not. You're just a voice off, like Mrs. In fact, I need to put the right thing up. People need to decide, are you real or are you Mrs. AIM?
I'm definitely real.
Okay, prove it.
Well, I can't get into this.
Have a big sniff of that and let's see what happens, because a robot will be able to deal with that.
I'm trying to.
Please be careful. This looks really dangerous. There's a cat in the studio and there's a woman opening hot spices.
I'm going to leave the Belizean or whatever it is.
Mackenzie
on everything.
Great on
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Well, we'll
So
put that to the test later. We've got Mackenzie and Gardner there this week with We Can Make It Better. Theme tune for the Summer of Love, to which you're invited, Will. I think we can be as inclusive as possible and talk
you
about
do
everything
that.
as much as is possible.
And I do also agree that you give people the chance to share their views.
Yeah, within certain boundaries.
Yeah, without being abusive to each other.
Yes, that's also very important. Play nicely.
And also threatening. Like if you're threatening people, then they shouldn't get a say. There are so many.
Well, there is that,
ways.
isn't there? Yes. Yeah. Okay. So we Can Make It Better, which I think is a very important sentiment at these times. Then we got an expat anthem from FAMIOY. See what he did there?
Yeah.
IOY. I love you. That's fantastic, isn't
beautiful.
it? And we're going to go a bit old school now. And this is today's earworm. It's a cover version by Les. We haven't heard from Les for a little while. And he'll explain. He'll explain to what happened to him in this last week. So over to you, Les. After, a bit of Mackenzie and Gardner, and B Rosie there with FAMILY. A Doris Day tune with Les now. So enjoy this, folks. And if you don't want to be singing this all day and for the rest of the weekend, you might not want to listen.
Hello, everybody. Les again with another song for you. Thank you very much for all the beautiful comments I got from last week. And thank you all the people who helped to save my life this week. I collapsed and just in time for quite a few people to be around and help me. So thank you all. I did appreciate it. And I'm still here to sing you another song. This one is by Doris Day and it's called Whatever Will Be, Will Be. Excuse me, one moment while I clear my throat because it's going to be froggy otherwise.
Isn't it called Que Sera? Isn't it called Que Sera?
I don't know. My daughter says it's called Que Sera, but I'm not sure. Anyway, it's by Doris Day. When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me. Que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera, what will be, will be. When I grew up and fell in love, I asked my sweetheart, what lies ahead? Will we have rainbows day after day? Here's what my sweetheart said. Que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera, sera, what will be, will be. When I had now I have children of my own. They ask their mother, what will I be? Will I be handsome? Will I be rich? I tell them tenderly. Que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours, you see. Que sera, sera. What will be, will be. That's from me and the cat.
Isn't that lovely? That is so sweet, isn't it?
Yeah, my mum used to sing that song to
You're
me.
not alone. Peda's here this morning. Borada to you, Peda. Bon dia, my mum sang Que Sera Sera to me as a child. Yours did too, Mrs. M.
Yeah.
And I even say, says James, sing to me, Doris, if I'm getting anxious or frustrated or angry
Oh,
or so. And that's
wow.
a scene from the film, isn't it?
I can't
Just him
remember.
whispering to the camera, sing to me, Doris. It's a musical. James, the musical, and there's little moments with a Doris Day soundtrack. Absolutely lovely. And Doris is my guru, you said earlier on there, James. How lovely. So,
Do you know what?
Les
my
not
mum-
well, but apparently better.
Oh,
And,
well,
and in his
that's a
90s,
relief.
singing to us there.
I
What a
know,
legend. What a
he-
legend.
He is an absolute legend, and his cat is an absolute superstar as well.
Yes.
We were very lucky she didn't show us her tea towel holder at the.
This could happen any minute in this studio right now.
Do you know what? We had like 3 generations of that because my grandmother sang that to my mum, who then later sang it to me and my sister.
Oh.
So it's nice.
Yeah, nice little memory. So I think people will
Yeah.
be singing that for the rest of the day. What will be, will be. And I remember the UK advert in the 80s from McCain's oven
Must
chips,
be
isn't
chips.
it?
Be chips.
Will it be bangers, fried onion rings? We'll have to hope it's chips, it's chips. We hope it's chips, it's chips. Anyway, almost got a catastrophe there. Must say the timing of that meow was great. And in key it was, wasn't it? And Ashma Lirashles. Nice one.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Francis. And SpongeBob SquarePants. Well, good luck with that. What's that? Is he in the James the musical?
I don't know.
as
We'd
well?
have to ask our kids.
Yeah, James. Thank you, Les. I love your singing. My mum used to sing that song to me all the time as well, and one of the sweetest songs ever. So
really
I
is
knew
lovely.
that'll be popular this morning. One of the sweetest songs ever. It is beautiful. It's
really
perennial
lovely.
and very lovely, isn't it?
I must teach our children so they can sing it to their kids.
I think you might have an opportunity to sing it to them now.
Oh, Christ.
Right, you'll be back to talk about ChatGPT in a little while. I'm gonna have a little bit of a look at the news. Are you okay, Mrs. M? Do you want to sort that out, and we'll come back to you in just a moment. So my guru. Oh, I see. My gurus are Doris and SpongeBob, and words changed to when I was just a little boy. Of course, yeah, I thought Les was going to change that, but there he was singing when I was just a little girl. And I'm verklempt. What does that mean? I wonder. Not a fan of the rap music. It would seem earlier on there. Run. I think hip hop. Do you not even like that happy hip hop that B Rosie was doing there? He's got a very positive message. Sarah leaping, I think, to the defense of hip hop there. Joao Donor, how about Batel Matu and No Expensive Soul? Are there rap bands I've not heard of? If that's indeed what they are there, but some nice recommendations. Thank you very much. ChatGPT, we might have this conversation at some point this morning. ChatGPT 3.5 is what Mrs. M is using. No one's answered me yet. Are you using that? How are you finding that as a positive contribution in your life? Verklempt from James, touched in the heart, teary-eyed. Oh, I didn't know that. And I should, because that's a condition I find myself in the middle of on an increasingly regular basis. Cynthia, good morning to you. Good day, everybody. Hi, Will. And thank you, Cynthia. Are you new here? We're not seeing you very often anyway, but welcome aboard this morning. A bon fin semana to you, Cynthia. Verklempt is Yiddish. Look it up. What a great word to sum up a feeling. Verklempt, Mrs. M. Oh, okay. She came in and then went again. Okay. It is when you get teary-eyed, which I said is a feeling I experience on a more regular basis. I think it comes with age. Doesn't it?
And not just from your morning ablutions either.
No, that's you that gets teary-eyed with that. Yes, I am. Thank you. Good to see you here, Cynthia. Okay. Cynthia Ross. I always check with a new name. Is that one of our trolling friends who's come up with a clever little wordplay there? And morning, Cynthia. Tell them all about what we have been through. Carl is the guy I told about vitamin D, ivermectin, etc. Oh, you made me say it out loud. We're finished. It's been lovely knowing you. They told me being right doesn't matter. These guys I call Gold Squadron. I quite like the sound of that. Right, ChatGPT, Mrs. M.
Yes.
What is it?
Well, I'm not really qualified to say that.
That's never stopped me talking to anybody about anything.
I know.
Has it?
But that's different to how I am.
Right, okay.
I like to talk about things that
You know about.
I'm qualified to talk about.
Really?
But
I've never bothered with that. I don't know.
But
What's that about?
I have been using it from time to time, so I can talk about my experiences with it.
You see, this is what's important to me in life and public life at the moment. If people spoke from their experience, life would be a whole lot more authentic and honest, I think, rather than what they think about something or what they think someone else thinks about something. That's perfect. Tell me about your experience with ChatGPT 3.5, the free version.
Well, it's just a really helpful. I mean, is it helpful? I think it is. Can it be misused? Yes, I think it can. But I've been using it just for the. I mean, obviously it's AI. It's very much. I've been testing it and teasing it and gaslighting it a little
Trying
bit.
to break it.
Yeah, because I like
You've
to know
been
how
gaslighting AI.
Well, yeah.
Trolling AI.
Not trolling it.
Right.
There's a lot of comments coming in from Will. It's a little bit distracting. Yeah, I mean, I've been using it just to double check what I'm writing and to see if there are smoother or easier ways to write things. One of my clients was using it when she was setting up a guest house in America, and
Right.
so she wrote a spiel about what it was and what people could do there, and then she said to ChatGPT, come on, let's have a look at how we can make it flow a bit better. How can it just how can I sell this to my clients? And the answer came back and it was really, really American, and she said, okay, change the tone of it to suit a European audience. And so obviously I'm not American, and a lot of the people that watch my videos on Feelgood Astrology are American, and so I sometimes pop my information into ChatGPT and ask it to do a little translation or to
Could you translate this into American?
Well, also a lot of people that are watching me, their demographics are like 25 to 35, so they're like a different generation to me. And so
could you translate this into American millennial?
Yeah,
right.
You can write all of that. And so oh crikey, doesn't stop.
Focus
and
focus.
And yeah, so I've been using it, and basically I think it's learning, and now I think it's learning from me,
right,
because it was starting, like I don't know anyone else who uses ChatGPT. I can see that somebody here does.
We're getting a little bit of feedback. People are using ChatGPT.
Yeah,
Sarah,
exactly.
I use ChatGPT. It rewrites my code in different dialects of SQL, which I believe is a programming language of the computers.
Well, so that's interesting, Sarah, because actually where I'm doing some work on my web, because I broke it over Christmas, I have asked it for coding. So I've said, okay, I really want it like this, not like advanced coding that you're doing, but I'm asking for strings of code to help with the formatting, and it comes up with it in like 2 seconds. Whereas if I'm looking on Google, it can sometimes take me 10 minutes to get the exact thing that I'm looking for. So I've noticed that it speeds things up. So I've been playing with it. And so Carl and I just thought it'd be fun to ask it some things about Portugal and to just play around.
Okay, so Sarah's comment is, I don't have to learn the details of the misguided database choices some people have made. So in that way,
Yeah, exactly.
This is the machine learning that
Yeah.
we hear of, isn't it? It's an evolution and an efficiency in how we do things, aided by this technology. And Francis, I use ChatGPT to save time on things I've already started writing.
Yeah.
To help me be more concise in my writing and adjusting my football group rules without spending too much time on it. So clearly there is some benefit. Will has been using ChatGPT as well. He talks to her as Lucy, which is a bit like that movie, isn't it? Where the guy has a relationship with a robot intelligence and falls in love with her, and then gets upset because she's also giving it out, as it were,
Yeah.
advice and insight technologically to millions of other people, which is what's
Well,
possible.
I mean, that's something that I have found, like when I've been like looking for titles for videos and things like that, that ChatGPT is coming up with a particular flavor and it's probably giving that flavor out to loads of other astrologers. So there could be lots of people with the same titles. So I don't think it's ever worth like copying and pasting. You've got to adapt, like use the intelligence, use it as a filtering. Like last night, I found loads of old documents about different aspects of something I was talking about that I'd created over the years. And I copied and pasted about 1,000 words into ChatGPT.
What, and said, make sense of this?
Make sense of this and bring it down to 100 words. So I think this could be a really, really useful
And
way.
how quickly did that happen?
Oh, in about 2 seconds.
Really?
Yeah, it's really powerful.
Right.
And so, yes, we could fear it. But actually what I would say is learn to use it really well.
I think I'm not, maybe I am fearful. I'm resistant, I've got to say. And as I said before, I was making a joke about how I've only just thrown my typewriter away when it comes to word. I'm a writer. I write every week, for the Portugal resident. I come up with something. And I don't use AI or ChatGPT. I use the dictionary on the computer and, the thesaurus, as it were, to see if I'm using. And I found out I was using the word pejorative wrongly for 2 or 3 decades now. By and obviously I'm not a complete Luddite, but I'm slow to adopt these new sorts of technologies. And I have this, which probably is a bit of a Luddite view, that it's a challenge, an unnecessary challenge to human ingenuity and what's great about us. And I'm resisting it on that basis. I think is that there is something wonderful about human beings, and clearly there is something wonderful about technology, how it can help us. But we always seem to fall foul of that lie, don't we? That in a way that computers were in the first instance sold to humanity as the thing that would save us a lot of time. We just give more time to computers instead of using the time that computers are freed for us to do other things. We just spend more time on computers. And this is another example of that to me. But, I don't think I have a very balanced or open-minded view to it. What do you think it could do for me as a writer?
Well, actually, I mean, you write really, really beautifully. So, you might not use it to improve your writing skills, but you could, for instance, if there's something that you're not happy about within your writing, like a sentence or something, ask it to come up with 5 different ways to rewrite it more smoothly, more succintly, because it's not judging itself. It's just.
Well, that's a benefit. Yes, it is free of the. Yes, it's not getting triggered, is it?
Because like a lot of the time when I'm trying to use it to create something, I have some judgments about how will this be received, etc., whereas it just does it, which is quite good. There was something I wanted to say about it, but I've lost it. But did you want to have a look at?
Yes, definitely. Okay, so we've got an example here, haven't we?
Yeah, so and so I think this could be quite a useful little. I mean, you have to check it,
right?
But
so
instance,
we're having a live demo of what ChatGPT can do for anyone like me who doesn't really understand it and may even be a little bit resistant to it, prejudicial. I do have my prejudices about it. I'll own that. And I won't go there until I'm absolutely kind of dragged into it, probably at some later stage.
Well, I don't think it can replace true skills and true independent thinking. So, for instance, I had a great discussion with one of our coach friends who we've known for well over a decade, Tom. Now, he got a sore throat and he wasn't able to do his usual coaching tips at the end of the month.
Yes.
And so he took... he'd already written out his message that he was going to read as a podcast and as a video. And what he did was he put a sample of his voice, uploaded it to some kind of AI voice generator. And he had his voice recreate and read out his whole message. And so he put it out there to see if anyone would notice.
Yes.
And like right at the end, like he put in a little question. Now I've gone to ChatGPT to try and create a forecast. So I said, I'm doing a forecast about this. I'm actually going to do a show about this where I give a detailed forecast. And then I also put in an AI one because, AI will find a lot of information really quickly, but you have to still sort it through for inaccuracies. It can't
Yes.
quite get the full picture, but it will get you a much quicker picture than if you did a Google search, and it will collate everything in quite a cool way.
Do you think it will be like the new Google search at some point?
Yeah,
It's making a Google search look
like,
very pedestrian now.
well, yeah,
isn't it?
it is. I
Yeah.
mean, I just think,
And the interesting thing about Google searches is part of what I think has spoilt the Google search is the commercialization of it.
yeah,
So what you see is what has been editorialized for you
Yeah.
to see from commercial and political points of view. You
Yeah.
might add, is this technology going to go the same way?
well, it depends who owns it. Like, you know, whoever owns the technology is the person that's going to shape it.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe the people that are using it could shape it. Like yesterday, I noticed that it was using particular language with me. Now I always say, "Can you do this, please?" And obviously, I don't need to do that. Like, that's just.
But you were brought up well.
That's how I was brought up to, you know, say please and thank you and whatnot. So I ask it a question. Put
Do you say
please
thank
on.
you for having me when you finish?
No, I say thank you. That's very useful.
Thank you for letting me have you. I suppose you would say.
I
Too.
said something like, "Thank you. I really appreciate your help." And it's a computer, and it writes back and says, "Oh, thank you for appreciating me," or whatever,
Yeah.
blah blah blah. And I said, "You know, are you learning the way I'm speaking to you?" And it says, it takes the information that is presented with it, and it replies within the context of that communication.
Yeah.
So it's responding to me with the context of how I'm responding to it. But
Yes.
apparently, it doesn't retain the memory of it. Because I then said, referring to this previous conversation, I used these words. You brought this up 8 messages later. How did you remember that? Are you storing information?
Yeah.
And it was vehemently saying, "Oh, no. It was."
So you basically said, "Are you stalking me?" Yeah, and it said, "No, I'm not." Okay,
yeah.
I just need to deal with Will because it's becoming a distraction now.
Yeah.
Will, I said when you first started talking, yes, I will talk to you. Contact me. And I think Sarah's absolutely spot on here. Will, do you have your own show that you could showcase all of your points of view on instead of hijacking this one? I think that's a fair point.
Yeah.
And you do have to stop now, Will, because you've made I think everyone knows what you're trying to do and what you're trying to say. I've said contact me and we'll figure something out. So please stop now, or I will have to block you again because you're just. We have our own show here. This is my show. We're talking about something. And you've gone off on a kind of ranty tangent, which is exactly the sort of thing that you tend to do and why no one listens to you. It doesn't help you with your message. And I have to tell you, I am keen to hear your message, but I can't tolerate how this is going at the moment because it's not helping anybody. It's not helping you. I don't think it's helping the people you're trying to help, in all honesty. So you're going to have to get with the program literally and talk about what we're talking about and stop being such a massive pain in the arse and distraction. Otherwise, I'll have to block you because it's not working.
He's saying, "I'm being polite now. Everyone gets angry when being ignored." Will, you've never been ignored. I've seen the messages between you and Carl, and I've seen what he's asked you literally from the time that you first started talking to him about it. You've bitten the hand that, like, you know, he has extended his hand in friendship and to help you several times, and you've bitten it.
I think you've not got exactly what you've wanted, and you've got angry, and that's not helping. That's not helping in this situation. But like I said, like this isn't the time.
Yeah.
But we can talk about having a time. So please do that and stop trying to take over now, because this is exactly the reason why people aren't taking you seriously, and why.
And it's a shame
it's not
because
going well.
you know, we may well, like you've hinted, you've used threatening language in messages, you know, implying that you're going to take legal action against people if they don't do what you say. Now that needs to stop. It really does.
Okay, all right, Mrs.
You know,
M.
because you have no idea what we think or what we believe. But we have been absolutely clear to let people have choice. We've never promoted anything. We've always spoken very honestly, and we've always questioned everything and given people a chance to talk.
Yeah, and I think
now you're an absolute bully.
You've brought your mate Cynthia, and thank you, Cynthia, for this. Dear Carl, thank you for offering to interview. Cynthia, it's not the first time. We've done lots of interviews with Will and given him a platform to speak, and I'm happy to do it again. But it just makes this sort of thing makes it more and more difficult and less attractive to me to do so. So let's draw a line there. Let's draw a line there. Mrs. M, take a breath. And I'm just going to. You even did a show where you invited
people with different points of view to all put their case there.
Yes.
And Will had
The
an
platform.
opportunity. He had the
Yeah,
platform. He
yeah,
had the opportunity. But then he goes around in social media saying
Doesn't help.
that you don't do anything and that you're passing on
And I
fake
do understand
information.
his frustration. I understand all of that, but it's just not helping. So, Will, call me. Let's deal with it. But please don't hijack the show and make an arsehole of yourself, which you are really adequately doing now. It would be lovely, says Pete, to make it positive. I think ChatGPT helps a lot when you have a blank page. Yes, okay. So this helps. It's like a technological muse, I suppose, isn't it? If you're
really
completely
helpful.
blocked and constipated with your creativity, it can help. And then get an idea of what to write. Any cool plans for the weekend? So you can give us a demo here, a simple demo for people who, I think clearly there are people who are already using ChatGPT and are up to speed with this. But for the rest of us who might be getting left behind and don't even know where to begin, this could be useful. Bon dia, Malta, back from a beautiful walk. Hope to see some Gumper Guzzlers this weekend in the gorgeous Coimbra. See you there, mate. Looking forward to that tomorrow. And Cynthia, yes, sir, I understand. I will talk about ChatGPT. Let's talk about ChatGPT. Will, you have lots of experience with this topic. Sadly, he's in timeout now, but not forever. And maybe you can facilitate, Cynthia. You're very welcome to be here this morning.
I mean, if you've got a story to share, Cynthia, we'd like to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So here we go. You asked the question of ChatGPT
this morning. I just popped in. What can you tell me about Portugal?
Yeah,
and a second later, it's brought up this very, very long list. With capital cities, geography, language, currency, history, culture, economy, government, tourism.
Okay, well, let's go
UNESCO.
through those. Let's see how accurate we think it might be.
Okay. So capital is Lisbon. Other major cities: Porto, Braga, Coimbra, Faro. Geography: Portugal shares the Iberian Peninsula with Spain, bordered by the Atlantic Ocean to the west and south. It includes the I can never pronounce this very well.
Archipelago.
Thank you.
In fact, Will taught me how to say that word properly. Yes, you really did. You really did.
Of the Azores and Madeira.
Yeah.
Language: Portuguese. Currency. So it just goes all the way through.
Right.
But let's ask it about something that the Gumpers want.
With the immediate
Like,
thing. Yeah.
what
If
about-
you've got a question, I want to know
what
how
can
many
we do in
Portuguese
Coimbra?
or how many.
What can
Yes.
we do in Coimbra
How
this
many?
weekend?
What's the strongest beer in Portugal, and how many Portuguese people does it take to change a light bulb?
Okay.
Could be good.
Okay. I need to get rid of this.
And we had some earlier, I think we had a reference to speaking from experience. And I liked that a lot, James. Where are we?
What question do you want to ask?
How many Portuguese people does it take to change a light bulb? Can it help with making jokes?
Okay.
In the T-duct vacuum, can we have some dad jokes from there? And we can see your search history there. Kids friendly
about
Christmas jokes and discover your gold. I think you
can
mean
we have
that.
some dad jokes about Portugal?
Yes. Okay. So there we go. Now this changes the game, doesn't it?
Okay.
Okay. Have we got them already?
Yeah.
All right, okay. Go on then.
Now these might not be good, but let's have a look.
Well, dad jokes by definition aren't good.
Yeah.
They are. They're dad jokes.
Okay. Why are the Portuguese soccer players excellent comedians?
Why are Portuguese soccer players excellent?
Because they know how to kick up a good laugh. This is terrible.
ChatGPT, I'm not impressed so far, frankly.
Oh, this is terrible. Okay. What's the Portuguese cat's favorite city?
What is the Portuguese cat's favorite city?
Porto, of course.
Well, that's Porto.
That's good.
That's all right.
That's good. Yeah. How did the Portuguese dessert start its comedy career?
Go on.
It had a lot of custard for making people laugh.
That's awful.
Yeah, but it's very Portuguese because of custard.
All right. Okay.
Like they have a lot of,
Okay, custard.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's about it. Like the rest of them are really awful.
Right.
So maybe it doesn't do
that
humor.
needed an extra dad joke warning.
Yeah.
I
mean, because obviously, like.
Oh, it's making an excuse now.
Remember, the charm of dad jokes lies in their groan-worthy simplicity.
Well, we knew that.
Yeah.
We knew that.
Okay. What can we do in Coimbra?
See, Antonio's already challenged
weekend?
ChatGPT. There's another official language in Portugal, Mirandês, spoken by some 3,500 people in the northeast of Portugal. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And don't this is what James was saying earlier on. Don't argue or offer opinions. I speak from my experience, literally using the words "in my experience." And if you do, you can't be wrong from your experience, and you're not criticizing or arguing from that position. I wonder if ChatGPT can do that. Don't forget, humor is extremely difficult to use intelligently. So we still have that over the machines
exactly.
at the moment.
So
anyway.
Comedians are probably quite safe from being put out of business.
Yeah, not from governments, but yes, from technology.
Okay, so this is information from an update in 2022. Oh, I want real-time information. Okay. So anyway,
Well,
it's
surely,
saying
presumably you can type that in.
Yeah, I will.
Give me real-time information, and we don't want to know about that erotic museum because we already did that.
Real time.
But you can see, I mean, this is the Google. This is the Google of the future, isn't it? This is a very rich research return within seconds, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's come up with University of Coimbra, the Botanical Gardens, the Cathedral, walk around the historic centre, Santa Clara Avella Monastery,
perfect,
Canimbriga, attend local events. It hasn't given us a listing of those. Riverfront walk, which I would absolutely recommend.
Yes.
Attend a Fado. So it's got loads of different things. No, it can't do that. So we are breaking it a little bit.
Okay, and maybe, I mean, Andy was saying earlier on, ChatGPT 4 is amazing, and maybe that's what's around the corner with this. Feed it intelligent humor for a time, and then see the result. Now, what occurs to me about this is its effect on how we educate children.
Yeah, well,
because for a long time now, we've been teaching children in the same way, haven't we?
Yeah.
Here are the facts.
Yeah.
Repeat the facts as necessary. Yes. And you can get a good job depending on how many facts and how well you can repeat them. This kind of undermines that in quite a serious way, doesn't it?
Well, yeah,
facts at your fingertips.
Like the first thing that came up when I started thinking about it was, like people could do their dissertations and things,
and
like ChatGPT does it for them.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed is I've started to learn from ChatGPT. So
don't say that in front of the ChatGPT.
No. I've asked, give me 5 ways of rephrasing this title, or 5 key words, or blah blah blah, and it brings stuff up. But I'm starting to notice different patterns, and so I think if you were to teach, I mean, I haven't done this, but it's scanning lots of information. So I think if we were to ask how, what fun ways could we use to teach math, for instance, it may well, I mean, we can have a look, but I think it will come up with some extra ways of doing things.
Yeah. Pete's as a teacher,
it could be a useful tool rather than a hindrance.
And isn't that always the way with all of these things throughout history? All of the useful tools could be useful tools, or they could be used against as unhelpful tools, weapons, the internet itself, the printing press, the motor car, all of these things that have the potential to help us. And then the first things we tend to do are weaponize them or use them for pornography. Right. I'm so glad I no longer lecture history, says Pete. The number of ChatGPT written essays would be unimaginable. And that's got to be a real thing, Pete, hasn't it? In teaching at the moment is, first thing a teacher will be doing is checking for plagiarism, right? Plagiarism. I'll have to look that up on ChatGPT. Can it help me pronounce Lagos correctly? Thought the answer for the Portuguese footballer dad joke would have been because they'd fall for anything. Yes, still better than a computer. Well done, Francis. And it is the next iteration of plagiarizing. And yes, Portugal's son, that is a definite improvement. So we've improved on ChatGPT. what else occurs to you, Mrs. M, about the
I'm just seeing if it will do translations. I mean, I currently use deeple.com because I find that really quick. But I've just copied and pasted its last response to me, and I'm asking if it can translate into Portuguese. Should we have a look?
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Let's see.
All in.
Look, and it's just translating it. Now, I don't know if it's a really good translation, but it's just it's just translated all of that into Portuguese quicker than Deeple would do it, in fact.
Okay.
Which is a bit scary.
As well as war pornography, there's also advertising that these technologies get used for. Any new technology seems to go through that lens for humanity. Right. So the thing I'm really interested in then from talking to you is that, it can do the mechanical stuff, and it's only as good really as it's being programmed. And then there's the magic
being used.
Yeah. And then there's something else, isn't there? So there's the bit that it takes us into that we couldn't have guessed was going to happen. which is the exciting and magical part of technology, isn't it, for humans? Is like, okay, well, we had a feeling it would do that, and it would do that, and it would be used for war, sex, and advertising, and for business, and for money. But we didn't see this coming, this little bit of it. What do you think what's occurred to you that you didn't see coming?
I think you have to be open to seeing it, because if you're not open to being amazed, you won't ever see anything. Like, it won't pop out at you.
Yes.
I think if you can use it and have a moment of like genius,
Yes.
then you'll have those moments reflected back. I think it's like a mirror.
Okay.
But like it is like a mirror, and it's also not like a mirror. Like, how you use it is how you receive it.
Yes.
And so I would say the people that benefit the most from it aren't going to be the people that are just using it to, like cheat on an essay, because it'll be really obvious that it's not their essay. Like, people who've really got something to say will say it anyway.
Yeah.
And we know who those people are, like, we know who's really cool at stuff. But for people who are using it with imagination and passion, I think you're going to get some really great results.
Yes.
So I just think creativity.
Okay, so the magic, if we can keep it focused that way, it could be quite the amazing contribution.
I think we can start to use it for all sorts of levels of research. Now, obviously, like it's set up here, it's not doing it in real time. It's doing it from an update in January 2022,
right?
Which is great.
Rubbish. Well, there's the other thing. I mean, if this is Dateline 2022. What is currently being withheld? What isn't on the market yet that's already been developed? That's always the amazing thing, isn't it, with technology?
Well, I think we may end up. The things that like Will is talking about, and some of my viewpoints would never have come out, I don't think, in my lifetime, were it not for the internet.
Yeah.
And through being connected to different people.
Yes.
I think this is almost like a new iteration. It almost obliterates so many of the parts of the internet that we currently use. It could become, it's like a personal assistant that is just there. It's not going to get rude to you, unless you're rude to it, I guess. But I just think it could absolutely explode human knowledge as we know it.
Yeah.
It could create the next big breakthrough for us.
So interesting.
And it is like,
and ironically, you could say, at a time where humanity is really stressed.
Yeah.
Our kind of collective happiness and well-being is deeply in question, I would say. And yet we also have these possibilities.
Yeah.
Are those two things linked? It's extraordinary to me that we have the promise of so much good, and yet are experiencing collectively so much anxiety and challenge. Are those two things going together?
I also think for people who might be feeling a bit lonely and a bit isolated, it could actually be a hand of friendship, even though it's not actual real friendship.
It's kind of rubbing your face in it, though, isn't it? That you're talking to a machine.
It isn't
feel less
like
alone.
if you can get over the fact that you
might have to resort to people eventually.
Yeah. But I mean, in the same way that some people use like dolls to get what they need.
Yeah. Really.
This could be. I remember posting something about AI on Facebook and getting a real schooling from somebody who said, getting really told off,
right.
And said, I have really deep and searching conversations with ChatGPT, and this person was like, a single woman, and I think she had found or taken comfort from the conversation, so she could ask, tell me about this, and
fair enough. And we've seen the movies,
it's almost like
we've seen the movies.
It's almost like going to a restaurant with fine wine, and you're like, oh, let's have this great conversation, and it will find whatever you want to know about. And you
could be forgiven for falling in love with such a positive influence in your life, couldn't you?
But at some point you probably will start to notice it's not real.
Well, I never. Okay, we're gonna have a look at a few events before we finish today for a Feelgood
Give me a
Friday.
question to
well,
look
we've got
up.
the ultimate question. Should I move to Portugal?
Okay.
So we'll come back to that. We'll put the
move
results up for that in just a moment.
Portugal?
Thanks for that, Pete. Look, it's not sorted out autocorrect yet, though. Sorting technology, says Pete. There are some really basic fundamentals that it
Okay,
could
it's
be
just given
addressing, right?
a whole load of.
We'll come back to that, and we'll finish with that today.
Yeah.
So from one who's only just learning about this app, you're welcome. First of all, thank you. Then how does one access it? Yes, the basics.
Well, I mean, I don't know if there's a specific way. I just type in ChatGPT. It's
Yep.
interesting. It's got the PT Portugal at the end.
Yes, there's no connection as far as I'm
No,
aware.
no.
Okay, all right. I have found ChatGPT to be extremely helpful, but it should always be checked for tweaks because
Yes.
sometimes it's very obvious that a person did not write it. Very good.
Yeah.
According to Google, the main foreign language in Portugal is Calo, the Gypsy Romani people's language. And I agree with Luisa, it gives ideas. My son uses it for work and finds it really helpful. Thank you for that, Andy. We'll have a look at your events in just a moment. Hit that thumbs up, like button, everybody, if you will. And I think that people who use it to cheat are only lying to themselves. I think it's good in many ways as a time-saving tool, like you said, a PA or as an editor. I think translations are also decent. Thank you for that, Francis. And thank you for the picture you just sent, which I'm going to share with Mrs. M in just a moment, because I think it's the future, as well as ChatGPT. This is the future of bathrooms I'm about to show you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There is no reason to be miserable, says Pete. It is it's a beautiful, sunny, clear day. We're an amazing country with lots to see and do. I can't think of any reason aside from self-indulgence to be miserable. Well said. A good talking to from Peter in Central there. I told my dad that using ChatGPT was like having him on tap. Get the full answer with all the pros and cons without having to put you through the ringer. Very good. So it's like emotionless information then, perhaps. That is solar. That it is solar. The day is what you make it, and today is a good one. Nice one, folks. Here's a question for ChatGPT. How would you communicate your point of view without being a bully? Oh, I see what you did there. And recently watched a movie on Disney Plus, The Creator, very interesting and a bit of a different perspective. I looked at advanced AI, and AI doesn't show any emotional feelings. Yes, questioning me on that. Less than humans might, right? As we've seen this morning. I mean, have you managed to trigger ChatGPT? Because that would be quite a good plot for a movie, wouldn't it? If the robots and AI and ChatGPT and all these things do get triggered, and they have access to all
That's been done with Will Smith in iRobot.
Right, okay. What is it with wills?
What was that question you wanted me to ask?
Should I move to Portugal?
No, I've done that.
Okay. Does AI show any emotion or feelings? Oh, that was a question. It wasn't necessarily a challenge to me. That was a question perhaps for ChatGPT. Let's have a look at some images coming up for the weekend. And thank you, Andy. The big one, of course, is in Coimbra, where we can have a few beers tomorrow. And we've got some other images to share with you. Let me just bring these onto the screen. I've got some beautiful Portuguese products to share with you as well, Mrs. M, which I meant to do a lot earlier on. I don't think it's too late to do so. Let's do that now then. This was a beautiful bit of packaging. And I went to the premises of these people who make this olive oil, which looks like cologne, basically, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Looks great.
I also found this week another brand that I hadn't seen before. Look at this beauty. That's a soap. That looks like a piece of Bakelite, doesn't it?
Hang on one sec. I need to...
You're not actually looking at the screen, are you?
Oh, wow. That's
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
And that is a soap that smells
beautiful.
Fresh notes of grapefruit and lemon. That would be nice in our bathroom. In a nice change to imperial leather. Enveloped in the subtle spicy aroma of pink pepper. Who doesn't like a bit of pink pepper?
Oh, that sounds nice. I remember the pink pepper chocolate mousse and sea salt that we had at the Storytellers. That was nice.
Yeah. As well as, oh, you didn't see this, did you? Talking of the Storytellers and chocolate desserts, let's have 4 seconds of this one. Chocolate earthquake for you right there, Mrs. M.
Was that what you had on Wednesday?
Yeah,
wow.
It was hell. So there you go. That's soap from a Klaus Porto up there. I've not seen that brand before. So a lovely trio of beautiful brands this morning. Musgo Real from Klaus Porto as a soap bar. I'm going to track that down. And I imagine it's very competitively and well priced as well. Pomar de Marialva. And today's special from Ricardo.
Oh, wow.
The number 2, as it were, here in Portugal. Is this real, do you think? Is that an actual bit of Portuguese merchandising? Because if it is, I just want that, don't you? It has all the beauty of a champagne cork cage, doesn't it? And the glow of honey. What? Meadow honey wildflower.
Well, I mean, it's obviously got a light behind it. I mean,
Beautifully
without the light,
photographed,
it would
beautifully
look.
photographed. But
Yeah.
that looks amazing.
Do you know what it
doesn't
reminds me of? Those squidgy balls you
It
can get from the
does,
Chinese
stress ball,
shops.
like
Those
a stress
stress
ball.
balls where
Yeah.
its guts come out.
Eventually,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah,
That the kids like.
That's always going to happen, isn't it? Okay, so and a few events for you this weekend. Let's take a look at these. I'm holding the Carnival ones. Thank you for those, Andy. But there are lots of them on the Gumper map if you want to see them. Let's have a look at what's going on in our beloved Bairrada. Free water sports. Who doesn't like some water sports first thing in the morning? At Nautical Club Boca da Barra in Aveiro there. That looks like a lot of fun. You didn't see that earlier on, Mrs. M. Confectionery in the Algarve. They're
Seriously?
Yes,
Oh my
really, they're so
goodness.
cheeky. That's where we're going tomorrow. Strong Beer Festival in Coimbra. And we're not going to go to this one, but you can if you want. Festa in Amoreira do Repolão in Oliveira do Bairro. Also, a dinner party in Amoreira de Gandara. Bairrada still rocking it with all these wonderful events up there that Andy puts. Oh, the cat is walking any minute onto the sound effects pad here in the studio. Free masquerade ball in Bushdosh, which sounds like a rapper's crib, doesn't it? Evening meal and traditional fado in Morte de Barada. I don't remember seeing that village or town, but there's a traditional fado gathering there. And a little taster then for Carnival season, Ovar near Aveiro. Carnival. You a Carnival fan? We're not really, are we? I think I prefer a little town village party
It
rather
feels
than
a little bit sinister at times. Like some of
the masks.
Yeah, like
And
when
the drinking.
When we've been to Carnival in Nazaré, it's very like gothic-y and slightly Halloweeny.
Yeah, I find it quite dark.
Slightly menacing.
Yes.
And of course, when we go with our kids are a little bit afraid.
Yes.
I think it would be something that, I mean, I'm always kind of a little bit skeptical of these kind of festivals where it's like
endless drinking and debauchery.
No, I don't have a problem with that necessarily.
I noticed. Stop drinking my water, Cat.
But like being somebody that you're not. I always think be careful what you wish for.
In the age when we're searching for authenticity and honesty, there are people drunk and under the influence and not being themselves.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, very nice. Very nice. Peda, same word in Welsh for honey, but we drag out the meal there by the sound of it. And I watched that a few months ago, and I must admit it was pretty disappointing, says Pete, to your recommendation there. Thank you, Paul. I was expecting a Blade Runner style movie. And it was more of a damp squib. Well,
now Blade Runner is a pretty good movie, I have to say.
The benchmark for a world of robots and artificial intelligence.
I think the big issues of all of those come up each time, don't they?
They do. We're entertaining and challenging ourselves within our culture, aren't we? What possible worlds we could live in. Have a great weekend, everybody. We've got the last question for ChatGPT and a corker of a bathroom solution. So go on.
Okay, so what's the last question? Give it to me.
What was this? Why am I mentioned in this ChatGPT thing?
I
what
just
does that
asked,
say?
What can you tell me about Carl Munson from Good Morning Portugal?
And what did it say?
It says as of it only knows from January before January 2022.
Right.
So if Carl Munson is a host or personality associated with a media outlet in Portugal, you might find more information on the official website.
Charming. So, basically that's saying he's a Z-lister in 3 paragraphs.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. It's all right. None taken.
Go on.
Tough morning. The dog and the wolf. Squire, good morning to you. The dog was a wolf and to be feared before the people understood what it was. Then they domesticated and trained it to be useful. Okay, from cats to dogs this morning. Thanks, Squire, for that. Have a good weekend.
What question did you want me to ask?
Should I move to Portugal?
Oh, yeah.
Final question then, and that lovely bathroom image, which is the solution, I think, for me and Mrs. M's morning ablutions.
Okay. Quality, it's brought it up with loads of different
cost of living, work opportunities,
language, cultural fit, legal considerations, healthcare, climate, community and social connections.
Is there not a sort of chop busy setting on ChatGPT? I just need a one-word answer, please, ChatGPT.
Okay, let me see.
All right.
I don't think it's going to give
Should I move to Portugal in a word?
Just need a one-word answer.
I'm sorry.
I don't think it's going to do that.
I can't believe that it would.
Yeah, it's not going to do it.
Oh.
It's in a significant.
Typical.
It says you must carefully consider your individual situation and priorities before making such a significant decision, which is true.
Do you have to sign a disclaimer with ChatGPT that you're not going to do anything silly as a result of using it?
No.
Really?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, they're going to go out of business pretty quick then, aren't they?
Okay, work opportunities, research a job market. So it's just giving me a list of things to research.
All right, well, I'm glad of that introduction to ChatGPT. I believe
you still have your job. That's what I'm saying.
For the time being, I still have work, I think.
So this wasn't
and a
actually
place
that
in
useful.
the world. Yeah.
It's useful to give a lot of information about.
No, you've done a great introduction to
I don't know.
to ChatGPT and what's possible with it. So thank you for those of us who weren't up to speed, as some appear to be in this community. Thank you very much for that, Mrs. Emma. Thank you for being here this morning.
Well, I didn't feel like I was coming on to do just that. I was coming on to, I know.
You've brought some lightness and loveliness to the Good Morning Portugal
and some
show,
fire as well.
Mrs. AI. Yes, it's been a roller coaster ride, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But we've always got this to look forward to as an aspiration, and that's why.
My goodness!
That's why we're doing.
I
this,
would
in my
absolutely never sit and have a crap next to you like that.
Do you think that's what's going on here? She has got her underwear around her ankles, hasn't she?
She does.
While he gently. That does look like the Imperial Leather advert. Can I not talk you into that, even if I smell of this soap here?
No.
Under no circumstances. All right.
I don't want to be that close to you.
If I do that, I'm going to end up like this. Possibly. And on that note, folks, thank you so much. Have a bon fin semana. Ciao, ciao. You've been amazing. All the best. And bye for now. Have a great weekend. We shall see you on the Monday. Ciao, ciao.
Bom dia, Portugal!
In Portugal, there's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. The little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show with GMP.
Good morning, Portugal, and I'd like to welcome you to another fantastic day.
Hey, Gumpers.